Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever felt a little overwhelmed by computers or smartphones, go ahead and take a deep breath. It is totally okay. Today we're taking a gentle, really easy first step to understanding what makes our devices tick. Let's dive in and explore it together.
So, picture this. If someone hands you a brand new school bag, what is the very first thing you do? Well, you probably check the zip, right? You might test out the handle to see how it feels in your hand, or open it up to look at all the different pockets inside. You do all of this just to get comfortable with it.
And honestly, that perfectly illustrates exactly what we're going to do today with our technology tools. Just like checking out a new bag, before we can use a device well, we really should know the parts we can see and touch. We aren't doing any coding or complicated tasks today, absolutely not. We're just going to look at the outside parts of our tools and get comfortable.
All right, let's jump into Section 1, the big desk. Parts of a laptop.
I want you to think of the laptop as our bigger tool. It gives us a nice, wide workspace, kind of like a desk. First up is the laptop screen. Imagine the board in a classroom. You know where all the lessons are written for the day? The laptop screen is exactly like that, just a little smaller and made up of millions of tiny glowing dots called pixels. It shows you all your words, pictures, videos, and websites. Right below that screen, we've got the keyboard. This is the part packed with all those mini little square keys. You press these keys to type out letters, numbers, and symbols. Now don't worry about memorizing where every single letter is right now, no way. We're going to practice using the keyboard properly in a later lesson. Today is literally just about saying hello to it. Next up is the touchpad. This is that flat little rectangle sitting right below the keyboard, and it's how you navigate. When you gently glide your finger across this flat part, it moves the little arrow around on your screen. It helps you point at things. Now, some people prefer to plug in a separate tool called a mouse to do this exact same job. And hey, fun fact for you, the very first computer mouse was actually carved out of wood. Finally, wrapping up our basic laptop parts, we have the charging port. This is simply the small hole where the charger plugs in. Just like we need a good meal to keep our energy up, the laptop needs power to work. It's also worth noting that lots of laptops have other little holes called USB ports, which lets you plug in things like flash drives or, you guessed it, that wooden mouse we just talked about. So where do we actually see these tools out in the wild? Well, laptops aren't just mysterious machines sitting on desks in offices. They're powerful tools actively helping our communities right now. You might see a laptop showing lyrics or announcements in a church or mosque. Or you might see one used at school to display online class notes for students. They're incredibly useful tools in our daily lives once you start paying attention. Moving right along to Section 2, the pocket tool. Parts of a phone. Now, the phone is our smaller grab-and-go tool, and it works in some truly amazing ways. The first part is the phone screen. Just like the laptop, it shows you pictures and words. But here's what's really amazing about it. It actually feels your touch directly. It listens to your finger when you tap on it or swipe across it. You don't even need a touchpad for a phone because the screen itself is doing the listening. Then, of course, we have the camera. This is the part that takes pictures and videos. What's fantastic about phones is that they usually have a camera on the back and another one right on the front. This makes them incredibly useful for everyday tasks, like taking bright, clear product pictures to sell items in the market. Next up, we've got the speaker and the microphone. I like to think of these two parts almost like a conversation. The speaker is where the sound comes out. It's how the phone speaks to us, like when it plays a lovely voice note from a family member. The microphone, on the other hand, well, that's where your voice enters. It's how the phone listens when you talk. And naturally, just like our big laptop, the phone also has a charging port. Even though it's our smaller, pocket-sized tool, it works really hard, it gets tired, and it absolutely needs a place where the charger enters to get its power back up. Now, take a second and think about the physical difference in how these tools actually feel when we use them. With a laptop, you're pressing down on physical clicky keys on a keyboard to write. But with a phone, you're tapping your finger directly onto smooth glass to make things happen. It's a very different physical feeling for sure, but both actions are simply ways of communicating with your tool. All right, let's do a quick recap of the tools we've met today. Over on the laptop side, we use the screen to see, the keyboard for typing, the touchpad for pointing, and the charging port for power. Over on the phone side, we have its screen, the camera for pictures, the speaker and microphone for sound, and its very own charging port. Now, if this feels like a whole lot of new names to remember all at once, just keep this in mind.
Learning technology is like learning the names of people in a new class. If you walked into a classroom of 30 new people today, there is no way you'd be expected to remember everyone's name by tomorrow. So do not panic if you forget a part's name. With a little bit of practice, you're going to remember them all perfectly.
So, to wrap up our explainer today, I'm going to leave you with a quick, fun little challenge. Look around you right now, wherever you're sitting. If you have a phone or a laptop nearby, can you point to 4 parts we just talked about and say their names out loud? Go ahead, try practicing this in your own home. Now that we know what these tools look like on the outside, what kind of invisible magic makes them work on the inside? Well, we'll be exploring that next time. Until then, keep exploring.